Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Spice and Wolf, episode 18. And I see that the beginning of the video probably cut off like a fragment of a second. But regardless, that was just a greeting. Episode 18, in which probably the entire big drama bit between Holo and Lawrence will be resolved. Maybe, or at least the immediate danger will be delayed a little bit, or just even completely removed, because I think that what we're gonna do, going with the current pacing, is that in today's episode, Lawrence is gonna visit Dian. Maybe the whole entire what's it called? Pyrite scheme is gonna get started, but the big resolution and the big talk between Lawrence and Holo will happen in the next episode. That's what I think is gonna happen. We'll see, of course. Right. In the previous episode, what exactly happened? Well, Lawrence figured out... Well, first of all, Lawrence arrived at the... is that what happened first? It was. No. Yeah, that happened before he met Amarty. Yeah. Right. Lawrence arrived at the inn where he and Holo are staying, and he got a package from... after seeing that Amarty and Holo are playing Romeo and Juliet on the balcony, he got into the inn and got a package from the innkeeper, who got it from Holo. And that package contained an itemized bill of Amarty's possessions, which is, I assume, what Amarty made as a way to, impress Holo, show her, see, this is what you're gonna be getting a part of if you marry me. And also a marriage contract between Amarty and Holo, signed by both, apparently. And instead of going to talk to Holo, like you probably would do, Lawrence deemed it a better idea to just run the fuck off and start his crazy scheme. And a crazy scheme it is, inspired by Holo, inspired by the thought of what would Holo do, what would Holo have done, absolutely, but crazy nonetheless. And that scheme is basically, first, Lawrence went to meet up with Amarty to antagonize him into agreeing to that scheme. And that scheme is, Lawrence is gonna sell some of the pyrite that he has to Amarty, but wait, what happens first? Amarty pays him first, and then gets the pyrite later in the day, right? I think that's the order. Because if Amarty were to pay later, but get pyrite now, and then he's gonna pay later. Fuck, which is it? Sorry, I can't recall. Give me a... Right, I had to check with the previous episode because it's important. Lawrence gets the money now and gives Amarty the pyrite later, meaning that it's essentially a merchant duel, right? Or rather a wager, because if pyrite shoots up in price, then Amarty is going to get very expensive pyrite for a relatively small sum of money now. But if the price plummets, which Amarty doesn't see being the case, then the reverse happens, and Amarty is going to get a handful of worthless rocks in exchange for a lump sum of money, so he loses. And that's only a part of a bigger scheme, right? Lawrence, of course, would not be entering a wager like that without having at least some way to skew his chances, and he does seem to have a way like that. Of course, before that happens, Amarty, he's not stupid either. He can smell that something is not quite right there, that it's some sort of a scheme, some sort of a ruse. But of course, his feelings, his emotions take a little bit more of a precedence above his common sense, or sense of a merchant, rather, you would say. And after a bit of antagonizing from Lawrence, right, like, oh, Holo looks so beautiful when she cries and shit like that, Amarty, of course, agrees to that duel. Lawrence, of course, has a plan, as I mentioned, and his plan is to just plummet the pyrite market. Simple, right? I mean, it's very simple as plans go, just plummet the market. What's so hard about it? His plan involves both spreading the rumor that pyrite is gonna none of the rumors involves pyrite, actually. The rumor involves the grain and flour, that they will shoot up in price, and that hopefully will make all of the traveling merchants just discard the pyrite, just sell it as fast as they can to buy flour and wheat instead, and hopefully make more profit on that. That's what he's banking on. He's banking on the market being generally very, very volatile, right? He still needs that pyrite to give it to Amarty, though, and that poses a big problem because he was hoping that Mark might be able to procure some of that for him. But we get a very nice moment explaining the big difference between a traveling merchant and a town merchant, right? We kind of sort of explored it earlier with the fact that Mark has a wife and a son and a house, right? He can have that as a town merchant. Meanwhile, Lawrence only has his cart and a traveling companion. They can't really have a kid, right? Can they? Lawrence can't really have a house, right? Because he's only constantly traveling. So we already touched on that. But now we have the other big difference, and kind of a reversal, right? Like at the beginning, we saw that being a town merchant is all pros, right? All of that cool stuff you can have if you're a town merchant, and if you're a traveling merchant, well, you're just a vagrant. But this is a bit of a reversal, because a town merchant might have a lot of privileges like that, but also has to pay a certain price for that. Meaning reputation. To a town's merchant, reputation is everything, right? If someone in the town says he is selling bad wheat, then the others will start avoiding him. For example, right? There is no possibility to just go to another town, right? I wasn't able to sell my wares here, well, I'm just gonna go somewhere else and sell them, right? Not a big problem. I'm gonna lose a little bit of time, I'm gonna lose a little bit of money on provisions, on, I don't know, taxes, fees, and stuff like that, but I am going to offload my cargo somewhere else, right? A town's merchant does not have that ability. So seeing Mark dabble in pyrite would damage his reputation a little bit, because he would get the reputation of someone who is jumping onto any random get-rich-quick scheme, and not someone who is stable, right? Always the same price of wheat following inflation or whatever, always the same kinds of flour. He's not cutting flour with gypsum. He's not selling rotting wheat, right? He's the constant here, and he would lose that. However, he does have certain connections, And those connections he can lend to Lawrence by, asking here and there who might have some pyrite, who might be willing to sell it, just as some friendly banter, friendly rumor, and then just bringing that money, that information to Lawrence. At the same time, he also told Lawrence where he can potentially get pyrite, and that is alchemists. Right, we know one such alchemist, Dian, and apparently she is kind of like a big wig among the alchemists in town. So going to her and asking her for pyrite might allow Lawrence to gather pyrite from the other alchemists as well. And yeah, and procure it that way. Something tells me. Something tells me that we're gonna see a moment where the alchemists are unwilling to share pyrite with Lawrence because they know how expensive it is, right? And if they just give away their reagent just like that, they're not going to be able to buy it back easily. But something tells me that Lawrence is going to tell them, chill. The price of pyrite is gonna drop, and either they will believe him, or Dian will believe him and tell the other alchemists to also do so. Something tells me that something like that might happen. What else happened in the previous episode? Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? Right, Lawrence is now en route to meet up with what's his face, with Dian's liaison. Then with Dian, and I'm assuming that's what's gonna happen in today's episode, right? The meeting with Dian and the beginning of the market crash. And only the next episode will bring us actual closure to this arc. Yeah, I think that's it. You guys told me very interesting information in the comments. Thank you for giving me those additional details from light novel and not spoiling anything. So I think I had like one comment that people on Discord told me was spoilers, so I didn't read it. But other than that, the comments seem to be plenty spoiler free. But regardless, apparently the routes that merchants take follow the routes of the saints of this world, and every merchant kind of picks like a patron saint, and they just follow their footsteps essentially, and that's their trading route, which is super interesting to me. That those there's bits and pieces of just culture there, right? The history of this world. It really feels like a world with a lot of history. It really feels like a world that has existed, and it's not often that you see that. Very often I see worlds that have just been created for the time period that the story takes place in, right? Like, sure, you have some stories of, oh, King Blorbo the Stern defeated orcs 500 years ago, or whatever the fuck. But that history doesn't permeate the entire world, and it absolutely does permeate it in Spice and Wolf. And I think that's enough talking, right? In today's episode, meeting with Dian, maybe beginning of the market crash. We'll see about that. And what we will do right now is watch it, right? High time to do so. To do it, you will need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 18 of Spice and Wolf in 3, 2, 1, go. Right, looking for the liaison. Battles. Is that gesture like somehow special, or suppliers? Probably not. Current owners of some pyrite stock? Probably. Also, by the way, if I seem a little bit like lethargic and stuff, it's early. I essentially woke up and sat down to record it, so haven't really had the time to wake up properly. Just had a coffee, and it still hasn't kicked in. But I didn't wanna put off recording this any further than I already did. Yeah, we are still yet to meet her and him. Uh, I'm assuming they are here for the second arc of this core. Probably. Okay, I see next episode in 6 days. That's good. Plenty of anime. I noticed. Bye Bye Earth for sure, and Wistoria, for example, are not going to be coming out next week because of the Olympics. But it seems like Spice and Wolf will, so that's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wants to disrupt those profits, but not monetary, not entirely monetary, but from an explosive drop. And from Holo being with him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Or you could have just gone and met with Dian without battles. You know where it is, don't you? Okay. Yeah, probably. I mean, if there are rumors that it has like healing properties and stuff. Code words for buying pyrite. Why would he need a code phrase with Dian? Can't he just be straight with her? Like, hey, I wanna buy pyrite. They're acquaintances by now, right? That should work. Or is it like a code phrase to even enter her abode? Right, she probably would rather avoid letting in like people of the church and stuff. So yeah, makes sense to have a code that grants entry. Or I guess code is not needed for entry after all. Okay, so it apparently is code for I wanna buy pyrite. And there is actually a lot of white feathers on the floor. Several. Did Amarty already buy pyrite? Did he know the code? If Amarty didn't know the code, chances are she did not sell anything to him. Or at least the type to keep them in suspense, yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so battles is essentially like the first layer of filter. Just tell her. She probably holds no love for the kid either. Apparently. I mean, sure. Okay, I guess you could look at a cargo as a liability in some regard, so an enemy of a merchant. Sure. Or in fear. Uh, right, he doesn't. He doesn't. I don't know why I thought that he has, like, at least a handful. There is a but, of course. Hmm. Buying on credit again. Is the other party Amarty? Amarty. Absolutely. He's trying to pull the same trick that Lorenz is trying to pull, essentially. Also buying on credit, hoping for an increase in price, of course. Hmm. That confident in the market crashing so hard. He's considering it. Preferable to staying in a quiet room with Holo. Oh, interested are we? I mean, plenty. Pagan gods are all about fucking humans. I have time for a legend or two. Okay, next time. Sure. And better prepare a story for her. Did she figure out that he's traveling with Holo? If she has any suspicions, then this question of his probably just made her certain. Right. Always have a contingency. Hmm. True. Yeah. As an investment, perhaps. Hmm. Right. If an item is too expensive, then people are just not gonna be buying it. So it's just dead stock for you. They're not gonna sell it. Hmm. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, almost to a fault, really. Just a business partner forming relationships. Yeah, I mean, I can see how a traveling merchant would have issues forming relationships. That's a good question, actually. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, you would probably know something about running around after a woman, wouldn't you? I mean, yeah, basically. Or are you implying that Holo was the one who chose him? I guess everybody here is a former traveling merchant. I love the music. Hmm. Literally. That question needs an answer, though. Yeah. Gotta figure that one out. Or at least admit to what you figured out. Because I really think by now Lorenz does have it figured out. Maybe not in a way that he can easily put it into words. Yeah. That's what I thought. To a degree, yeah. At the market. Experience with what? Sleeping alone? In case it doesn't work out with Holo? That what you're thinking? Probably. New Day. How's the pyrite situation? Oh, there was a festival, alright. Using a burlap sack as a sleeping bag. I thought he's gonna like lay down on a layer of sacks, not use it like that. You could say that, yeah. Oh, deep north then. Like Holos region or thereabouts. Dried bread is not the best eating. The other one is the tip for you. Probably. Knowing him, probably. Have you also slept here? Oh, we still have a little bit of time in the episode. Hmm. Yes. When there's a surplus. Exactly. And they can dictate the price. It's to make someone else lose money. Yep. Oh, someone's selling pyrite? Sup, Holo? Yeah, don't let it throw you off, Lorenz. Don't lose your cool. Focus on the task at hand. Oh, already got a 1,000? Oh, no, that's the pay for pyrite. Yeah, he wanted to show off. You're losing your cool, Lorenz. You're losing cool. You're allowing Amati to take control here. You're gonna be late with your call, mate. You're not paying attention. You're too easily flustered. What's going on? I guess market open. And ending. Oh, shit. He didn't get pyrite from Dian yet either, did he? It's crazy, you know? I like very often I like know what's gonna happen more or less, right? Like, for example, the anime has 24 episodes. In episode 7, main character gets mortally wounded. I know they're gonna survive, right? Because there is a fuck ton of episodes more, right? So I'm not that worried for their life when they're mortally wounded. In this case, I know that it's gonna end well, right? Like Lawrence and Hull are gonna get back together. But I'm still on the edge of my seat. I know it's gonna, go well, but there's that like tiny bit of my brain saying, and what if not? What if not? What if he fails actually? What if he actually loses Solo? I have no idea how would that happen, but what if, right? God's unseen hand and Wolf's unseen heart. Ooh, is the church gonna get involved? Maybe. Church didn't get involved in the pagan festival though, so why would the church get involved into, I don't know, pagan future seeing with pyrite or whatever is they're doing, right? So probably not that. Wolf's Unseen Heart, I mean, that one is certainly much more obvious, right? What is Holo thinking actually? Does she actually want to go with Amarty? Or does she, want to reconsider? Is she just waiting for Lawrence to jump out on a white horse in silver armor? Or, right? What's she thinking here? We don't know that. Her face is always obstructed in this episode. Yeah, I guess the second half makes sense here. God's unseen hand, I mean, that could be. Holo is a deity, so maybe both are both like segments of the title are about Holo. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in the next episode, but right now we're gonna see this one again, shall we? What do we have here? Yeah, meeting with Batos to meet with Dian. Is it because of the profits? Yeah, for a profit, but not monetary. Although Lawrence would also gain some monetary value from it, right? The money he got from no, though, not really. He would make money on the deal with MRT if it was just, in the void in and of itself, right? If he if he sold his pyrite to Amarty that he didn't have yet, and the price of pyrite would drop, then he would make money. But him buying pyrite for the high prices is what's gonna drive the prices to drop. So in the end, Lawrence chances are he's gonna end up with a bunch of worthless pyrite left over, right? Or if not, then at least all of the pyrite that he procures for high prices, he's going to be selling for lower and lower and lower prices. Because if he withholds his selling, then the price is going to go up again. So he only stands to lose here monetarily. But his only gain here, very important gain, of course, is the gain of Holo, right? Something more fundamental, yeah. Your cargo was about to fall into a valley. Yep. And you gotta make the decision. Do you cut the cargo off and saddle the horses and run for the city on the horses and on whatever you can fit into the saddlebags? Or do you risk waiting in a forest by a destroyed cart, hoping that the bandits don't find you and hoping that you can fix that cart up, right? There is a choice, and you gotta make that decision. And in this case, Holo is that cargo kind of stuck in the mud, kind of being dragged back by a bandit, right? A bandit caught it with a lasso and is dragging, and you gotta make the decision. Do I cut it off and run away, or do I struggle against the bandit? And in this case, Lawrence is choosing the latter option, which is, of course, much harder thing to do, right? It would be much easier to just write Holo off and go about his business, but of course he's not gonna do that. Of course he's not gonna. He's a pragmatist to a degree, and this is way past that degree. A good traveling merchant would wait patiently for the chance. Right. I've come to buy a box to store white feathers. I was expecting this password to be a password that allows him to get in, but apparently it's code word specifically for the purchase of pyrite. I would like to buy pyrite, however, yeah, it's not just simple profit, is it? I need it for a duel. What's this? This gesture. As if he was touching an old wound. Was he wounded here? I don't think so. This, bit with Lawrence remembering Amati standing here with a knife and then touching his face kind of seems like Amati just slashed him at some point and he's like, oh, that kid cut me, and remembering that, but it's not what happened, so I wonder. Cargo. A traveling merchant loses when he makes a mistake in any of these aspects. Yeah, whichever way you make that mistake, you lose. If you stay by the cargo and you try to rescue it for, however long, then you lose on any trading that you could have done in that time. If the produce inside spoils, then you lose on that and on time. If you get ambushed by bandits, you potentially even lose your own life. If help cannot arrive in time, or if help is very expensive, you lose on that. On the other hand, if you cut off any cargo that you could have saved after all in some way, then you lost that. And only in retrospect will you be able to see, or not, what you actually could have done there. Trying to pull back the goods that are about to fall out of my cart, yeah? After reconsidering everything, I decided that I'm not dropping my cargo. Exactly. I just need to take a final look. How much, at what price? Someone already purchased it on credit. My bet is on Amarty, right? It would make sense. Buy Pyrite for current prices and then receive Pyrite when it gets more expensive. Then drop that Pyrite onto the market to sell it. The prices are going to drop a little bit, but then withhold, and the prices are gonna go up. And then just rinse and repeat the process. Amarty is shrewd. He is shrewd. I called him a kid a couple of times in this episode, and he is age-wise. But there is that little bit of childlike behavior in him, right? Like he very easily was provoked by Lawrence and kinda discarded his mercantile mask for a moment there. But if we're just talking about Amarty as a merchant, he can be shrewd, really. He's not just a random fishmonger selling fish here and there and making a business on that. No, he can see an opportunity, and he is willing to make business with anybody to make a good on that opportunity. I'm fine with selling to you instead. 16,000 Iliad worth at today's market price, 420 silver coins, and Lawrence is gonna have like what, 500 from from selling his pyrite to Amarty. Yeah, I think something thereabouts. We never allow others to know who has done business with us. Yeah, I mean, sure, absolutely makes sense. Good OPSEC. Front of the stone merchant. I don't care about the price as long as it's not double, you know. Let's not be hasty here. That would be a little bit too much. That would make me start to care. My lifestyle does not follow the cycles of day and night. You and me, bestie. As long as you bring me interesting tales. God may pass judgment on you. I think for some reason that you're saying it very half-heartedly. I don't know what gives me this impression. Any stories of pagan gods and humans becoming a couple? The fucking entirety of any random pagan religion, mythology, whatever you pick, is just completely sown and permeated with gods having sex with humans. Like Zeus. How many children did Zeus have with humans? No, in general, like pagan religions and mythologies, very often very sexual. So many things just arise from sex somehow, or from other, adjacent actions. There's that myth about the creation of man from Slavic mythology, or at least the Polish kind of Slavic mythology. Can't remember the names of the gods, but essentially there was a god and there was a goddess, and the god was trying to force himself onto the goddess, but she clenched so hard that his dick was shattered into billion trillion splinters that fell on the ground, and every splinter became a human, or like a proto-human, because those proto-humans then became humans and something like that. So, everybody is a dick according to Slavic mythology. Regardless, Lorenz is really like uncharacteristically interested in it, right? Like all this time, he's been maybe not a shonen protagonist, maybe not not like a rom-com protagonist, right? Not to that degree, but all this time he was more to the side of Holo flirting with him somehow, and he just taking it at face value and not noticing the flirtatious undertones, right? Like he was flustered a couple of times, sure. Holo absolutely flusters him, but I don't think that so far he even entertained the thought of becoming a couple with Holo. And now he is. Because he was taking her for granted. And now that she's gone, that's making him think, right? What actually is she to me? Who am I actually to her? Right? He realizes that he can't just keep it up in the air forever, just jokes and jabs and little flirts. That question needs an answer sooner or later to, for the lack of a better term, to secure Holo, if nothing else, right? It sounds very like, I don't know, impersonal saying that, securing Holo, but basically he knows now that there can be another man to woo her. It already happened. Holo probably wasn't, wooed, and at least in part she's dealing with Amarty because she wants to see Lorenz jealous and she wants to see Lorenz do something, right? But still, the possibility is here. But, now Lorenz is thinking, shit, maybe if I put a ring on her, maybe then she will, stay with me. Because that's gonna be, done deal. Nothing is up in the air, right? I'm safe and secure. Yeah, of course, plenty of stories. Next time. Good luck. Very hopeful episode again, right? Good luck from Dian. Some nice, happy, cheerful music that happened in this episode as well. It really gives me the vibes that everything is gonna be daijoubu. But, in the back of my head, there's still that question, what if it ain't though? And it's crazy, because I, like, at every step I see everything's gonna be daijoubu, and it can't be any other way. We can't have a show just called Spice, with Lorenz traveling and selling spices. It's Spice and Wolf, for fuck's sakes. So of course they're gonna be traveling together. But I'm still unsure, man. I'm still unsure. Buyer before you, yeah. 370 coins worth of umpire. Right, let's not say the name of it, right? Let's not, people are listening. Someone else might be wanting to get onto the pyrite train. That much. What is it? Are they playing dice, or is it some food, like nuts or something? Or copper coins? I'm not sure. The only reason it was pocket money for me, but what about those with a lot of money? Yeah, right? I mean, a lot of people would buy that pyrite just to have it, first of all. They would buy it as an investment without particular attachment, right? Like, it's different getting a cube of pyrite from a woman who got that pyrite from her husband as a gift or whatever, and it's different to get that pyrite from a rich, I don't know, lumber mill owner or whatever that just bought it as a curiosity, right? There's no attachment there, and he's only after profit. You offer enough money, you're gonna get the pie, right? There's no personal attachment degree to it. There are merchants that have prestigious signboards, bought a lot, yeah. Even more hesitant to sell it all openly, right? Trading it in some, back alleys and stuff because the market is not entirely favorable. Because, where is it mentioned? Yeah, it's difficult to sell them. Exactly. That's a thing with price gouging. There eventually is a price that people are not willing to pay. And that's where your profits just plummet, right? Rising your prices can rise your profits, but it has a hard cap, or, well, soft cap more like, right? There will be people willing to, I don't know, pay $30 a month or $40 a month for Netflix, but not many. But when Netflix costs $100 a month, fucking nobody will buy it. I mean, maybe a couple of people, right? There are people for whom $100 is just chump change, so might as well. But the majority will just drop off. That's why very often when you see a company start price gouging like that, that company is either on the way to restructuring, if it has good leadership, or on the way just out of the business. Because they're trying to get as much money as they can before the company fails. And that's what they're doing. Interesting bit. I read today, I think, yeah, today, that McDonald's actually is considering rethinking their prices because the price of McDonald's is so high that people just kind of, stopped buying it. When you were able to get a nice meal in Poland, it was like 5 zloty, which translates to $1 and some change. You were able to pay that for a burger, just standard cheeseburger or a jalapeno burger or something, and fries, small fries. It was like a 2 for you or something like that. And now just a single burger costs like $5.50. So people are not buying it because it's not profitable. Or, well, not profitable. You get the same burger for more money, so why fucking bother? And prices at my local McDonald's are essentially reaching the prices of a restaurant. I could go to McDonald's and pay like 30 zloty for a burger and fries, or I could go to a proper fucking burger place and pay the same money and get a proper burger, medium rare, done as I want with some nice skin on fries and stuff for the same fucking price. Why would I go to McDonald's? Right? So they're reconsidering their pricing mostly by the way of promotions, right? Stuff like for $5 you can pick like 3 different products and you get that bundle, or have an app and take $10 off your order if it's above $60, or stuff like that, which is still not dropping their prices but effectively dropping their prices. Well, that was a big non sequitur. Let's continue. Even a small amount has grown to a huge profit. Yeah. Yeah, the assistant is very useful here, isn't he? Amazing at spreading rumors. Yeah, there's a merchant who's buying pyrite. No matter the price, you want to get rid of it. Maybe look after him. You've never really thought of me as a friend. Right, the curse of a traveling merchant. Everybody is a business partner, everybody is an acquaintance, everybody is a contact. But you can't really form deep connections with people when you stay at any given place for like a week tops, can you? That's the curse of a traveling merchant, I think. Yeah, it's a problem most traveling merchants face when becoming town merchants. In a town, you actually, those like relationships actually matter, actually start mattering. If you're friend with the baker, you might get some cheaper bread every morning to eat, right? If you're a friend with the carpenter and a bit of your stall gets broken, that friend of yours might be able to fix it free of charge, you know? Next time my wife needs some wheat for baking, just, give me some wheat. Don't mention it. We gotta help each other, right? You gotta build those relationships with people, not just for, profit, in that I can have my table fixed without paying anything, but to just be a member of community, to not be an outcast. Nobody's gonna buy from an outcast, are they? And while you're a traveling merchant, it's the opposite. You keep your distance, because if you get attached, then you get hurt when you go anywhere. And you cannot even get attached because you never stay for long at any given place. So that transition from a traveling merchant to a town merchant, yeah, I can see that being harsh. Would you run around town this desperately for me? Very good question, isn't it? But he is running around this frantically for Holo because he spent a lot of time with her, right? He had the chance to form a relationship with her. He didn't just meet with Holo for a week at a random town. No, they spent a lot of time. Yeah, it's, dare I say, Lawrence's first relationship. Not even in the meaning of like a romantic relationship necessarily, but just a relationship with another human, whatever the nature of that relationship would be. It really seems to be the case, doesn't it? And that's why Lawrence doesn't know how to navigate it. He might have the, merchant smarts, right? He knows what brings profit, what brings loss, and he can think of that relationship in those terms to try to make sense of it in his head, but he doesn't know how to navigate a relationship between two humans, or humanoids at least. Only flexible branches can withstand fierce winds, indeed. You've become an interesting guy because that curse is being lifted. Yeah, a little bit more human, aren't we? The poets all say that money can't buy love. The preachers preach that there are more important things in the world than money. Then when making money is so hard, how are we to obtain something more precious than that? Yeah? I love this bit of, everybody just knowing what he's talking about. Everybody understands it just carnally. And they're like, you tell him, Mark. That's great. That's a great bit. If we work hard and finally obtain it, we can't help but treasure it. Yeah. Oddly enough, I mean, not oddly enough, makes sense that money is kind of, easier to say bye-bye to than more, expensive quote-unquote things like relationships or love. Brawn is not the only strength of the knight, sure. What am I to you? Yeah, I'm glad he has an answer finally. I just wonder what that answer is gonna be. I really wonder what that answer is gonna be. Because, shit, knowing Lawrence, it could be that, big important moment. Music is rising. We cut to Holo's expectant face. We cut to Lawrence, and he says, "My dear traveling companion." Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. All this build up for Lawrence to just completely fucking miss the mark. It would not surprise me. 10 Lumione isn't enough. How does being owed sound, though? Next time you need something done, call up Lawrence. He's gonna do that something for you. You need some transport from another city, you can count on him. As I said, like in one of the previous episodes, having a cooperation between a singular traveling merchant and a singular town merchant would be really fucking beneficial, wouldn't it? I want to get some experience. Experience with what? Presumably he already does have experience sleeping alone in a cart, right? That's what he's been doing for however many years before he met Hola. So why get experience? I don't think that's about it. I don't think it's about sleeping alone. I don't know, maybe. I did not expect him to use a burlap sack as a sleeping bag. Making a trap for a terrible guy. Dried bread. Is that what passes for breakfast in this area? Dried fucking bread. That's what you give to the chickens in your coop. And ideally not even that, because they would be much better off with grain. Dried bread. Sure. Like, you'd think that there would be like a bakery where you can get a fresh slice of, or a fresh loaf of bread, something like that. But no, dried bread, okay, sure. I could go for some fucking crunchy slice. Another sunny day, good for trading. What is this exactly? I'm trying to decipher it. I'm gonna assume that the middle column is different shapes of pyrite that would have different price depending on like the purity or the clarity of the shape, right? Like a clear cut cube crystal is the more expensive, then slightly more irregular is cheaper, then we have one even more irregular, then we have one with like weird inclusions, that's the cheapest. Either on the left or on the right there are prices. I don't know what the other column would be. And to the very right, those wooden boards, they seem to be the names of merchants who have this particular kind of pyrite to sell. That would make sense, wouldn't it, for like the central market, right? To have like, I don't know, bread, nails, ham, and water or wine or whatever, and then names of all the people who are selling it, so you can see, oh, yeah, I see Mark is selling wheat. Let's go to Mark and buy some wheat, right? Maybe it's a system like that. Because otherwise you would have to remember who's selling what, which is not a problem for the local townspeople, but it might be a problem for the traveling merchants, right? They might not know who's selling what at a given time. And I'm assuming on the left, the empty board is where the wooden boards come also slide in, but wooden boards with the names of people who are willing to buy it, right? So that you can see, oh, I have some boar tusks that I brought from the north, and those guys are buying boar tusks, so I'm gonna go there and sell them there. Again, a helper for the traveling merchants. Yeah, that's probably what it is. This worried me. We'll buy wheat later. The entire plan that Lawrence has, it still hasn't come to pass, is to make those merchants buy wheat. That's the entire plan here. Instead of pyrite, and offload that pyrite instead. Yeah, we know when the prices go up, when they go down. Just the right mix of patience and resolve to find the perfect timing. Right, because if you cause a ruckus too early, then the market still will have the time to recover. Could very well be that Amarty might just buy off the entirety of the pyrite that's being sold to artificially drive the prices. Right? Because he knows that if he drives the prices, then he will be able to offload that pyrite anyway soon enough. Right. If you do it too late, then there might not be enough time for everybody to offload their pyrite before the market closes. Yeah, so you gotta figure out the perfect timing. Interesting that there is an effigy of a wolf on the left and an effigy of a man on the right. I don't think there is any like particular symbolism to their like location here. Maybe Holo and Lorenz being separated by the market, right? Like the only thing that keeps them apart is the market here, and when the market is manipulated properly, then they will be able to come together. Actually, that's an interesting thought. The effigy of a wolf and the effigy of a man meet to signify that Holo and Lorenz are getting back together as well. Where is Spice and Wolf in my... Where the fuck is it? Oh, I guess it's earlier. Kaiju Hachigo, Mysterious Disappearances, Unnamed Memories, Tentai Dai, Shikkaku. There it is, Spice and Wolf. Oh, it's been a while since I noted anything here. Effigies of Wolf and Man come together. Probably. Yeah, people coming in with the boards. Okay, so I assume on the left is the price and on the right might be the quantity. Maybe. Because when a new seller came in, he's erasing from the right column, which means the quantity of pyrite available on the market has changed. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And here is a Marty with Holo. Yeah, not letting go of any chance to just rub a little bit more of it in, right? Oh. Sup? See how close I am with you, girl? Meanwhile, we don't see Holo's face even for a moment. She doesn't seem particularly happy there from the little bit of her lips that we can see. Rimmer gold coins. Right, that's the 500 for pyrite. Dian is able to procure pyrite worth 400. Yeah, so he's still gonna have 100 left. That he can maybe use to buy pyrite from other merchants. What a flex. What a flex. Exchange fees, oh, it wasn't much. You know, just 23 gold fucking coins, you peasant. I can afford it. Lawrence is just fucking falling apart here. I thought for a moment that he's just going to miss the mark. Whatever the mark might be, to start selling, to start spreading the rumor about pyrite and start selling the pyrite that he has bought. No, he's not gonna sell it. He's keeping it for Amarty. Scratch that. Yeah, spreading the rumor. I thought he's just going to miss the mark. When the bells started ringing, I thought that, oh shit, he probably had to start the whole wheel spinning before the market opens, but now it's open. It's fucking too late. Something's gonna go awry. Something's gonna go wrong. He's gonna lose Holo. I know he's not gonna, but he's gonna lose Holo, right? I like the contract. Good that they have the contract. Yeah, counted the money. I thought that Amarty might have done something to the contract while Lawrence is distracted with counting the coins. But I don't think Amarty would stoop this low. Like, for all his faults, he wants to do things clean, right? No subterfuge, no underhanded tactics, right? He's only gonna get the satisfaction if he wins all proper like. What's making Lawrence fall apart is not so much Amarty as it is Holo, I think. Her mere presence. I really think Lawrence is making a big mistake avoiding her. You know? Just in general. Like sleeping outside of the inn. Avoiding her completely. Now, I'm not saying he should be, I don't know, trying to convince her or something like that, but he should at least be there, right? Like, be available, so to speak, right? Like, go to your inn and sleep in your room. Silently, quietly, sure, Holo might give you silent treatment. She might even walk out, but show that you're willing to be in her presence, right? Because Lawrence just running away and then seemingly never coming back to see Holo can be interpreted, if we're going for the worst interpretation, which is where Holo's mind would go at that given moment. He just cut Holo off. Is just like, okay, whatever, go with Amarty, I'm gonna go somewhere else. It could be the interpretation. And I wonder if that's gonna bite him in the ass. Market opens. Interesting that the market stalls are kinda assembled into like a vaguely human shape, right? We have the torso with the column, we have the two legs, we have the two arms, and we have the effigies. The wolf, the man, the two like dragon creatures, and a praying mantis shrimp kind of thing. And I think the big pillar is that a what's it called, a pillory? I think it's called a pillory, isn't it? Pręgierz in Polish. Pillory, yeah, pillory. I recognize it because in the market square in Wrocław, in my city, we also have one, and it's a very common meeting spot, right? Where are we gonna meet? Oh, like, you know, meet me by the fucking pillory. I mean, it's a characteristic place in the market square, and the market square is big, so you need those, like, you know, well-known names. Then again, when I think about it, we have some interestingly named streets as well, also near the market square, interestingly. What would it translate to? Nożownicza Street, most notably, which translates to Cutthroat. Street of Cutthroats, and it crosses, I'm pretty sure, with Więzienna, which is the prison street, and it's in general like that little area around the market square that's all named after like fucking criminal activities. Medieval times must have been crazy, eh? Regardless, yeah, that's it, and the title God's Unseen Hand and Wolf's Unseen Heart. Wolf's Unseen Heart, I mean, that's fairly clear. I would say God's Unseen Hand. could be seen as an interference by fate, by the god, right? Like everything was about to go awry, but then, oh, what a coincidence, something good happened. Must have been God's hand at play, right? That's what I'm thinking. Who would be the god, though? Well, the obvious answer is Holo, but I don't think both segments of the title would be about Holo. Although maybe Holo doing some stuff in the background. Who else has any connection to the god? The freckled nun girl that we see in the opening? Probably not. Nora? I don't think so. The church getting involved somehow? Unlikely in a city that openly like has pagan rituals and festivals. Dian? Is Dian a deity of some sort? She certainly is presented as such every now and then. Is Dian actually a fucking deity or a demigod? Is a demigod, deity, etc. And I noticed that my camera is way too fucking low. I think that's better. Yeah, regardless. Yeah, I have no clue what would God's unseen hand be here, but it's gonna be something for sure. All right. So that was the episode. I expected this episode to go a little further. Right? As I said, I expected even the beginning of the market crash to already start here. And maybe we could start the next episode with, oh shit, the market has crashed. Amarty has no way to pay the gold, to pay the silver or gold or whatever he promised to pay, and Holo is free. And then the second half of the episode is Lawrence talking to Holo. Right? I expected maybe something like that. But the way it's going, it really seems like the next episode will be mostly the market manipulation with the possible crash and Amarty going bankrupt or close to. And then the episode after that is going to be the talk. Capital T. Both T's capital, actually. Yeah, I think that's going to be something like that. I wonder about Holo's interference. I really think that she might be willing to interfere in Lawrence's favor. Like, I fully expect something to maybe go awry briefly, but then Holo does something that fixes that situation and helps Lawrence. Maybe from behind the scenes. That's why unseen hand. Maybe openly and overtly. Maybe visible only to Lawrence. I don't know, but something tells me that Holo is going to be involved. That she's not going to just stay a passive asset, for the lack of a better term, right? Because right now she's just a passive thing. For all we know, it could be Amarty and Lawrence beefing over deeds to a building in the city where Amarty wants to open a fish canning facility and Lawrence wants to open his store, right? It's very impersonal, and Holo is not an impersonal person, is she? There are things going on in her head, for sure, absolutely, and I don't think those things are necessarily in Amarty's favor, not now. Initially, maybe. Initially, maybe she genuinely thought, well, let's just ditch Lawrence and go to Amarty. But I think now that the emotions are down, now that she had the time to think things through, I really think she skews more in Lawrence's favor, but she certainly needs proof. She's not going to come running to Lawrence just like that. She's going to need, first of all, an answer to her question, both actually, who is Holo to him and who is he to Holo. And she's going to need proof that Lawrence understands it and that he wants to make amends. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be interesting. As I said, it's really weird knowing that absolutely for sure they will end together again. This story has a happy ending, but I'm still unsure of it. It's so fucking wild. Like, as I said initially, most of the time I can just laugh myself through a character being in danger because I know that they're a protagonist and of course they're not gonna die. Right? So let's just enjoy the fight for what it is. Oh, haha, he got hit in the arm, the fucking damn ass. Right? Talking about the main character because I know they're gonna be fine. And so the, oh no, they're in a coma. I wonder when they will wake up. Right? It doesn't have effect on me, but this is the complete opposite. I know exactly how's it gonna end, but it keeps me in complete and utter suspense. Not even for a moment am I willing to disregard what's happening and hand wave it with, oh, they're gonna end up together anyway, so might as well enjoy the show. No, there's like genuine suspense right now, genuine fear in me, so to speak. Super interesting how that happens, really. Yeah, sure. I think that's gonna be it from me. Yeah, I don't think I have anything more to say on the topic of today's episode, but maybe you guys do. And if you do, then say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, of my theories, stuff like that in the comments down below. As I said, no spoilers, please. I beg of you, spoilers can go to my Discord here, also in the description below. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Spice and Wolf, but also Wistoria, Bye Bye Earth, Isekai Shikkaku, QA Isekai, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified of when I go live, because I do sometimes support the channel. If you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not, share my content, spread the word, cost nothing, helps a lot. On Patreon, for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And on YouTube you can use super chats, super thanks, memberships, stuff like that, if you'd like. And yeah, I think with that, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my one for Patreons: QB, Without an Edze, Reine, Yuki Alai, Dr. Watfried, Dick Jung, Akamasar, Marsh, Puzzle, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to sleep in a burlap sack.